One intentional hour a day can completely redirect the course of your life, not in some distant someday, but starting from the moment you decide to use it on purpose. That hour isn't magical by itself. What makes it powerful is the decision behind it. Most people live on autopilot. They wake up, scroll, complain, rush through the same routine, say they want change, and then give their best time to distractions and other people's priorities. Yet 1 hour is only about 4% of your day. If you can't give 4% of your day to your own growth, you're not really stuck. You're simply uncommitted to yourself. Time is a mirror. It reflects what you truly value. When you give yourself a daily hour not to escape, but to build, to read, study, plan, train, write, think, you are silently telling yourself, I matter. My future matters. You don't need a dramatic event, a new year, or perfect conditions to turn things around. You need a chair, a notebook, a quiet space, and the courage to be honest about where you are and where you want to go. That hour is enough to sharpen your thinking, and when your thinking improves, your actions follow. You begin asking better questions, saying no to what drains you, and moving with intention instead of reacting to every problem and notification. You won't be perfect. You'll miss days, you'll feel lazy or distracted. That's normal. The key is not to turn one missed day into a bad week or a bad month. You simply restart. Over time, that hour reshapes you. You start seeing yourself as someone who shows up, who keeps promises, who invests in their own improvement. In a few months of consistent effort, you will not recognize who you've become, not because the world suddenly changed, but because you finally decided to show up for yourself every single day.
The first battle of your day is fought in your bed, and the snooze button quietly wins that battle for millions of people every morning. When you stay in bed after you said you'd get up, you're not just losing a few minutes of time, you're giving away ownership of your entire day. From that moment on, your mood, your old habits, your excuses, and your distractions start running the show. The first decision you make in the morning sets the tone for everything that follows. If your first move is hesitation, your day leans toward confusion and delay. But if your first move is action, your day begins with strength and clarity. Getting up when the alarm rings, especially when you don't feel like it, is a quiet promise kept between you and yourself. You're proving that your goals mean more to you than temporary comfort. Change doesn't start at the gym, at work, or in some dramatic moment. It starts when you choose to rise instead of roll over. You don't have to be thrilled about getting out of bed. You just have to stop waiting to feel ready. Feeling ready is rare. What's reliable is doing what you said you'd do, whether you feel like it or not. The early hours are special, not because of some mystical secret, but because they are empty of noise. The world is quieter. There are fewer demands, fewer messages, fewer distractions. That's your chance to lead your life before the world tries to lead it for you. Waking up with purpose doesn't mean you need to join the 4 a.m. club or become a machine. It means you claim a block of your morning for what truly matters: thinking, training, learning, planning, or building something that belongs to you. The version of you who gets up when it's hard becomes the version of you who can handle pressure, who can resist excuses, who can move forward even when life is uncomfortable. Every time you beat the snooze button, you're doing more than waking up. You're taking back control of your day and, over time, your entire life.
Your life always moves in the direction of your dominant attention. If your attention is scattered, distracted, or constantly pulled toward drama and small problems, your life will feel scattered too. Most people say they want success, growth, and peace, but their focus tells a different story. They spend their best mental energy on notifications, gossip, social media, entertainment, and worrying about what others think. They confuse being busy with being productive, and then they're surprised when nothing truly important moves forward. The tough truth is that your attention is your most powerful resource, and the world is constantly trying to steal it from you. Platforms profit from your distraction. Your future, on the other hand, only grows when you deliberately aim your attention at the things that matter: skills, health, meaningful work, key relationships, and long-term goals. That means learning to say no a lot. No to unnecessary drama. No to endless scrolling. No to problems that aren't yours to solve. No to tasks that feel productive but change nothing. It also means picking a small number of priorities and giving them your best energy, not your leftovers. One solid, deeply focused hour on something important can move you further than 5 hours of half attention spread over dozens of meaningless tasks. You don't need more time, you need better focus. Train yourself to notice when your mind starts wandering into distraction or comparison. Don't beat yourself up, just gently pull your attention back to the work or the habit that actually builds your future. At first, deep focus will feel difficult and uncomfortable because your brain is used to constant stimulation. But like any muscle, your attention gets stronger the more you train it. Choose your mental inputs carefully. Books, conversations, ideas, and content that sharpen your thinking instead of clouding it. When you invest your attention intentionally every day, you begin to feel more grounded and less anxious because you're no longer reacting to everything around you. You're creating something in front of you. Over time, your results will quietly reveal the story of where your attention has been. Every morning, you wake up holding a small supply of time and energy. You can spend it reacting to everything around you, messages, other people's problems, random tasks, or you can use a meaningful portion of it to build something that actually matters to you. Many people end their day exhausted but empty, realizing they spent hours being busy without producing anything they are truly proud of. That emptiness is what makes life feel stuck and dull. The difference between people who move forward and people who stay in the same place isn't luck or talent, it's how they use their invisible hours, the time no one else sees. When you decide that at least 1 hour a day will be devoted to building instead of just surviving, everything starts to shift. Building can mean many things: writing a page of a book, designing a product, practicing a craft, studying a subject deeply, improving your health, planning a business, or even cleaning up a part of your life you've neglected. What matters is the intention behind it. You are using your time to create something that outlasts the moment rather than just numbing yourself until tomorrow. You don't need a perfect plan before you start. You don't need expensive tools or huge blocks of free time. You need the courage to begin with what you have, where you are. Progress in meaningful work is often slow and quiet. There will be days when it doesn't feel like much is happening, but if you keep showing up, those small actions add up. Instead of waking up thinking, "How do I get through today?" you start asking, "What can I build with the time I have today?" That mindset alone changes how you move. You stop needing constant motivation because you're driven by purpose, not just by mood. You'll feel resistance, the temptation to scroll, to procrastinate, to tell yourself you're too tired. But remember, you don't need to build everything today. You just need to build something today. Over weeks and months, you'll look back and see a body of work, growth, or progress that only exists because you decided to give your time a purpose instead of letting it be consumed by distractions and routine. You don't grow just by doing more. You grow by understanding more. Every day offers you a chance to learn something that can make your life work better, an idea that changes how you think, a principle that improves how you handle money, time, relationships, stress, or opportunity. But most people let that chance slip by. They default to entertainment instead of education. They say they want to change, but they don't feed their mind anything that would make change possible. If you want a different level of life, you need a different level of thinking, and that only comes from deliberate learning. You don't have to read for hours or finish a book every week. You just need to commit to learning one genuinely useful thing every single day. That useful thing might come from a paragraph in a book, a podcast, a conversation with someone wise, a well-chosen video, or even a mistake you finally analyze honestly. The key is usefulness. Can I apply this insight to my life right now? Can it help me make a better decision, respond more calmly, plan more intelligently, or treat people, including myself, better? Learning is not about stuffing your head with random facts. It's about changing your perspective and ultimately your behavior. When you come across a powerful idea, don't just let it pass through your mind. Write it down. Think about it. Ask, how does this apply to my current problems or goals? Try one small action based on it. The moment you start living what you learn, growth becomes real. Over 30 days, 30 useful ideas can completely rewire the way you see yourself and your challenges. Over a year, that daily learning compounds. Your thinking becomes clearer, your choices smarter, your reactions calmer. Fear shrinks because confusion shrinks. Most fear comes from not knowing what to do, and learning is how you solve that. Make it non-negotiable. No day ends without you learning something that moves you forward. You may not see the impact immediately, but day by day, you are upgrading the operating system your whole life runs on, your mind. Your body is the vehicle that carries you through every dream, challenge, and responsibility you have. Yet many people treat it as an afterthought until it breaks down. They sit all day, move as little as possible, and then wonder why they feel sluggish, foggy, and unmotivated. A lot of the tiredness people feel doesn't come from doing too much, it comes from doing too little. Your body was designed to move, to carry weight, to breathe deeply, to use its muscles. When you move with intention, you don't just change how you look, you change how you feel and how you think. You do not need to become an athlete or join an expensive gym to benefit from physical activity. You just need to build the habit of daily movement, walking, stretching, body weight exercises, a short home workout, dancing in your room, anything that elevates your heart rate and reminds your body it's alive. When your heart is pumping and your blood is flowing, mental fog starts to clear. Stress has somewhere to go, and your mood shifts almost instantly. Moving your body is one of the fastest ways to change your state without relying on caffeine, sugar, or distractions. It's not about chasing a perfect physique. It's about building the strength, energy, and resilience your goals require. Physical discipline spills into every other area. When you push through the moment you want to stop, when you complete the workout you didn't feel like starting, you are training your mind to act without waiting for permission from your feelings. You're building an identity. I am someone who takes care of my body. I am someone who moves even when it would be easier not to. Start small if you need to, 5 or 10 minutes a day, but make it consistent. Over time, you'll notice you think more clearly, handle stress better, and carry yourself with more confidence. Your body and mind are not separate worlds. Respect your body with daily movement, and it will reward you with the energy and presence you need to build the rest of your life.
In a world obsessed with speed and constant activity, slowing down can feel wrong, even dangerous, but it's often the bravest and most necessary thing you can do. Many people rush from task to task, screen to screen, day to day, without ever pausing long enough to notice how they actually feel or what's really driving their behavior. They wake up anxious, go to bed exhausted, and in between they distract themselves so they don't have to face their own thoughts. But real progress doesn't just come from doing more, it comes from understanding yourself better. You can't fix what you're unwilling to face, and you can't face anything if you're always in motion. That's why you need moments of honest reflection built into your life. This doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be 10 quiet minutes at the start or end of your day where you put your phone away, sit still, breathe, and simply ask yourself a few real questions. What am I feeling right now? What am I avoiding? What's been bothering me that I keep pushing aside? Am I proud of how I've been thinking and acting? Am I living in alignment with what I say I value? These questions are uncomfortable, which is why many people never ask them, but they are also the doorway to clarity. Sometimes you'll realize your stress is not about today's problem, it's about unresolved hurt from yesterday. Sometimes you'll see that you're chasing goals that don't even belong to you anymore. Reflection doesn't mean drowning in your emotions or replaying every mistake. It means observing your inner world without judgment so you can respond instead of react. When you make a habit of checking in with yourself, you catch small issues before they become crises. You stop being a stranger to your own needs and limits. You become more grounded, less easily thrown off by other people or random events. Slowing down isn't laziness, it's maintenance. It keeps your mind clear, your values in sight, and your actions connected to who you truly want to be.
Almost everyone has at least one problem they keep pushing to the back of their mind. A difficult conversation, a painful decision, a bad habit, a financial mess, a relationship issue, a responsibility they've postponed for too long. You tell yourself you'll handle it soon, but days turn into months and it still sits there, quietly draining your energy. You may distract yourself successfully for a while, but every time things get quiet, that issue returns to your thoughts. Ignoring it hasn't made it go away, it has only made it heavier. Avoidance might feel safe in the moment, but it slowly eats away at your confidence and self-respect. Deep down, you know that no matter how many other good things you do, you won't feel truly free until you stop running and finally deal with this one thing. You don't need to solve your entire life at once. You just need to choose that specific problem and take the first honest step toward fixing it. Start by naming it clearly. This is what I've been avoiding. This is how it's affecting me. No blame, no excuses, just truth. Maybe it means admitting a mistake, seeking help, setting a boundary, apologizing, ending something that isn't healthy, or committing to a new, uncomfortable behavior. The first step will almost always feel scary, but fear is not a sign you shouldn't act. It's a sign you're touching something real. On the other side of that step is relief, not because everything will instantly be perfect, but because you've stopped lying to yourself. You've proven that you're willing to face your life instead of hiding from it. Once you start, momentum builds. A problem you've carried for years begins to feel smaller as you chip away at it with action. You'll also notice a powerful shift in how you see yourself. You're no longer the person who runs, you're the person who faces things. That shift in identity is priceless. You don't have to fix everything today, but you do have to stop pretending this thing doesn't matter. Choose courage over comfort once, and you'll find it easier to choose it again. Almost everyone has at least one problem they keep pushing to the back of their mind. A difficult conversation, a painful decision, a bad habit, a financial mess, a relationship issue, a responsibility they've postponed for too long. You tell yourself you'll handle it soon, but days turn into months and it still sits there, quietly draining your energy. You may distract yourself successfully for a while, but every time things get quiet, that issue returns to your thoughts. Ignoring it hasn't made it go away, it has only made it heavier. Avoidance might feel safe in the moment, but it slowly eats away at your confidence and self-respect. Deep down, you know that no matter how many other good things you do, you won't feel truly free until you stop running and finally deal with this one thing. You don't need to solve your entire life at once. You just need to choose that specific problem and take the first honest step toward fixing it. Start by naming it clearly. This is what I've been avoiding. This is how it's affecting me. No blame, no excuses, just truth. Maybe it means admitting a mistake, seeking help, setting a boundary, apologizing, ending something that isn't healthy, or committing to a new, uncomfortable behavior. The first step will almost always feel scary, but fear is not a sign you shouldn't act. It's a sign you're touching something real. On the other side of that step is relief, not because everything will instantly be perfect, but because you've stopped lying to yourself. You've proven that you're willing to face your life instead of hiding from it. Once you start, momentum builds. A problem you've carried for years begins to feel smaller as you chip away at it with action. You'll also notice a powerful shift in how you see yourself. You're no longer the person who runs, you're the person who faces things. That shift in identity is priceless. You don't have to fix everything today, but you do have to stop pretending this thing doesn't matter. Choose courage over comfort once, and you'll find it easier to choose it again. Lasting change is not a single event. It's the accumulation of small actions repeated far beyond the point where most people quit. Anyone can start a new habit when they feel inspired, but the real transformation begins when the inspiration fades and you keep going anyway. You don't become disciplined, focused, or confident because you had one powerful week. You become that kind of person because you repeated simple, meaningful behaviors, your hour of focus, your movement, your learning, your reflection, day after day, month after month. Repetition is boring, and that's exactly why it works. It trains your brain that this is just what we do now. At first, you have to push yourself. Every action is a choice, a mini negotiation with your old self. But if you don't give up, something subtle shifts. The habit slowly moves from feeling forced to feeling natural. You no longer argue with yourself about whether you'll read, train, or work on your project. You just do it because it would feel strange not to. That's identity change. You've gone from trying to be a certain kind of person to simply being that person. Many people sabotage themselves by constantly changing strategies instead of sticking with the basics that work. They chase new plans, new hacks, new routines, always starting over and never staying long enough to see real results. Don't let that be you. Choose a small set of core habits that align with the future you want. Your daily hour, your morning start, your learning, your movement, your tracking, and commit to repeating them long enough for them to reshape you. There will be days when you feel tired, unmotivated, discouraged, or busy. Those are not signs to quit. They are invitations to prove you're serious. Show up imperfectly rather than not at all. Even a small version of the habit keeps the chain intact. Over time, the compound effect of repetition will surprise you. One day you'll realize you think differently, act differently, handle setbacks differently. You won't be faking discipline, you'll have become disciplined. And it all started with the choice to give 1 hour a day to the person you knew you could become, and to keep making that choice until the new you was no longer a goal, but your reality. To actually claim your daily hour, you have to stop telling yourself the lie that you don't have time and start admitting, I haven't been making time. Everyone's life is different. Some have kids, demanding jobs, responsibilities, but almost everyone has 1 hour that is currently being lost to low-quality activities. Start by tracking a normal day. From the moment you wake up to when you sleep, write down where your time goes. You'll usually find hidden pockets, 30 minutes of scrolling here, 20 minutes of aimless YouTube there, 15 minutes of complaining or gossip. That's your hour, broken into pieces. Your first move is to gather those pieces into one protected block. It might be early morning before anyone wakes, late at night when the house is quiet, or even your lunch break, but choose a consistent time. Then declare that hour non-negotiable. not negotiable with others, and not negotiable with your excuses. Treat it like an important appointment with your future self. When that hour begins, remove as many distractions as possible. Put your phone in another room, close unnecessary tabs, let people know you're unavailable unless it's an emergency. Before the hour starts, decide what it's for. 20 minutes learning, 20 minutes building, 20 minutes reflecting, for example, or 1 full hour on a single project. Don't sit down and see what happens. Go in with a plan. At first, your mind will resist. You'll feel restless, bored, tempted to check your phone. That's normal. The discomfort is proof that you're breaking a pattern. Stick with it. After a week, the hour will start to feel less strange. After a month, you'll start to notice real progress. After a few months, you'll look back and realize this one decision to protect a single hour each day quietly created a new version of you. Sharper, calmer, more intentional, and finally moving toward the life you keep saying you want. If getting out of bed on time has been a lifelong battle for you, understand this. The problem usually starts the night before. You can't expect to wake up clear and strong if you go to sleep at 2 a.m. surrounded by noise, sugar, and screens. Reclaiming your morning starts with respecting your evening. Aim for a consistent bedtime that gives you enough sleep for your body. Most people need 7 to 8 hours. An hour before bed, start winding down. Dim the lights, put your phone on Do Not Disturb, and avoid endless scrolling or emotionally charged content. This signals to your brain that it's time to slow down. Put your alarm across the room so you have to physically get up to turn it off. When the alarm rings, don't start negotiating with yourself. Don't ask, "Do I feel like getting up?" Ask, "Who am I choosing to be right now?" Then move. Sit up, put your feet on the floor, and stand. The first 30 seconds are the hardest. Once you're upright, it gets easier. Immediately do something simple but active. Drink a glass of water, open a window, stretch, or walk to the bathroom. This small chain of actions breaks the pull of the bed. Next, give your morning a clear purpose. If you get up early just to stare at your phone, your brain will eventually decide sleep is better. But if you know, this is my hour to write, learn, train, or plan, you attach meaning to your wake-up time. That meaning becomes fuel. Don't try to become extreme overnight. If you're used to waking at 9, don't jump to 5 tomorrow. Move it back 15 to 30 minutes at a time and adjust. The goal isn't to impress anyone with how early you rise. The goal is to build a morning you own. Over time, as you consistently get up when you said you would, something powerful shifts. You stop dreading mornings and start seeing them as your secret advantage, a quiet, strong beginning that sets the tone for everything else. Learning to direct your attention is a skill, and like any skill, it can be trained. Start by asking one question every morning. What are the few things today that will actually move my life forward? Not everything you'll do, just the few that matter most. Write down 1 to 3 priorities, not 10. Then block off time for them. During those blocks, you practice deep focus. That means one task, one window, one purpose. No multitasking. Multitasking feels efficient, but it usually just divides your attention and lowers the quality of everything you do. When you sit down to work on something that matters, remove obvious distractions before you start. Silence your phone, close social media tabs, tell people you'll respond later. If you need structure, use a simple technique like 25 minutes of deep work followed by a 5-minute break. During those 25 minutes, promise yourself you won't switch tasks. If your mind wanders, notice it, then calmly bring it back. That act of returning is how focus gets stronger. Another powerful practice is writing down your distraction list. Whenever you're focused and a random thought appears, check Instagram, search this, message that person, don't act on it. Instead, jot it on a paper next to you. You're telling your brain, I won't forget, but not now. Most of those urges will feel less important by the time you finish your work block. Train yourself to differentiate between urgent and important. Urgent things scream for your attention: notifications, minor requests, little fires. Important things quietly shape your future: health, learning, meaningful projects, deep relationships. Your day will always present urgencies, but you must protect time for what's important, or your life will be filled with noise but empty of progress. Over time, as you repeatedly choose focused attention over scattered reaction, your mind calms down. You feel less pulled in 50 directions and more anchored in what truly counts. That's when your results begin to match your intentions. If you've never built anything meaningful before, the idea can feel overwhelming. You might think, I don't know where to start, or what if it fails? Understand that every big project, every book, business, skill, or transformation began as something small and imperfect. The first step is choosing a direction, not a perfect plan. Ask yourself, what have I been drawn to for a long time? Maybe it's writing, design, coding, coaching, fitness, content creation, a side business, or repairing a part of your personal life. Pick one area that feels important and commit to exploring it. Next, break it down. Don't write "build a business" on your to-do list. That's too vague. Instead, write "list 3 business ideas." Research one idea for 30 minutes. Or talk to one person who's done something similar. These tiny, clear actions give you momentum without paralyzing you. Adopt the mindset of a builder, not a dreamer. A dreamer waits for the perfect conditions and fears every flaw. A builder knows that the first version will be rough, but they create it anyway because they understand you can't improve what doesn't exist. Give yourself permission to make ugly drafts, basic attempts, and simple prototypes. Progress first, perfection later. When resistance shows up, and it will, recognize it for what it is: fear dressed up as logic. Thoughts like, "This might not work," "people won't care," or "I don't know enough" are not reasons to stop. They are signs that you're doing something real. Keep going. Track your progress in a visible way: a notebook, a wall calendar, a document where you list what you worked on each day. This visual trail reminds you that you are, in fact, building. Over time, as the pages, designs, ideas, reps, or steps pile up, you'll have something you can point to and say, "I made this. I invested my life into something that matters to me." That feeling is deeper than entertainment or distraction. It's the feeling of purpose. To get the most out of daily learning, you need a simple system. First, choose your sources carefully. Not every book, podcast, or video deserves your attention. Look for material created by people who have real experience and whose results you respect. Prioritize depth over hype, books and long-form content over endless quick clips. Next, narrow your learning topics to match your current season. If you're trying to fix your finances, focus on money, habits, and discipline. If you're building a business, study marketing, sales, creativity, and leadership. If you're working on yourself, dive into psychology, mindset, and communication. This focus helps you turn knowledge into action instead of collecting random facts. When you encounter a useful idea, don't just nod and move on. Pause. Write it down in a dedicated notebook or digital document. Underneath it, add your own words. What does this mean to me? Where in my life is this relevant? Then decide on one concrete action you can take based on it, even if it's small. That might mean changing one habit, having one conversation, practicing one technique, or seeing one situation differently. Learning without application is just mental entertainment. Real growth happens when ideas leave the page and enter your behavior. Also, learn from your own life. At the end of the day, ask, what did today teach me? Maybe you learned that saying yes too often drains you, or that certain environments make you more focused, or that you think clearer after a walk. These observations are valuable lessons. When you treat your life as a classroom, every success and every failure becomes a teacher. Over time, your personal collection of useful ideas becomes a personal manual for living, a set of principles, reminders, and insights tailored to you. Whenever you feel lost, you can return to it and find wisdom you've already earned. With one useful thing a day, you don't just accumulate information, you slowly become wiser, clearer, and more capable of handling whatever life puts in front of you.
You don't need a complicated workout plan to tap into the benefits of physical movement. Start with the simplest possible routine you're willing to do consistently. For example, 3 times a week, commit to 10 to 20 minutes of basic body weight exercises, squats, push-ups or wall push-ups if you're starting out, planks, and light stretching. On the other days, take a brisk 20 to 30-minute walk. That alone, done for a month, will change how you feel. If you're completely new to exercise or carrying old injuries, be gentle and patient. Focus on moving well, not fast. The goal is to wake your body up, not destroy it. Pay attention to your posture, your breathing, and how your muscles engage. As you get more comfortable, slowly increase intensity or time. Add a few more reps, extend your walk, or try light weights if you have them. The magic isn't in the complexity, it's in the consistency. Schedule your movement like you schedule any important appointment. Many people find that doing something physical early in the day sets a powerful tone. They feel more awake, more focused, and more capable. Others prefer evenings as a way to release the stress of the day. There's no perfect time. There's only the time you will actually use. Understand that you will not always feel like moving. On those days, don't negotiate with yourself. Tell your body, we're just going to do 5 minutes. Start. Once you begin, you'll often find the energy to do more. If not, 5 minutes still beats 0. Notice how you feel after each session. Mentally label that feeling. This is what strength feels like. This is what taking care of myself feels like. The more you connect movement with positive states, clarity, pride, energy, the easier it becomes to return to it. Over weeks and months, your body becomes a source of support instead of a source of frustration. You'll stand taller, breathe deeper, and move through your day knowing you've already proven to yourself that you can do hard things. One of the most powerful tools for slowing down and understanding yourself is a simple notebook. Call it a journal if you like, or just a place where your inner world meets the page. Set aside a few minutes each day, morning or night, to write without editing yourself. You don't need perfect sentences. You need honesty. Start with prompts like, "Right now I feel," or "What's been on my mind the most?" or "What am I worried about?" or "What am I grateful for?" or "What am I pretending not to know?" When you write, you pull vague emotions and half-formed thoughts out of your head and turn them into something you can see. Often, what feels like a huge fog in your mind shrinks as soon as you put it into words. You realize, I'm not upset about everything, I'm upset about this one thing. That clarity alone reduces stress and gives you something specific to work with. Combine this with simple breathing. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and take slow breaths, in through your nose, out through your mouth for a few minutes. Notice your chest rise and fall. Notice the tension in your body, and gently let it go. You're teaching your nervous system that it's safe to slow down. Reflection is not rumination. Rumination is spinning in the same thoughts without moving forward. Why am I like this? Nothing ever changes. Reflection asks better questions. What is this feeling trying to tell me? What can I control here? What small action would help? If you find yourself stuck in loops of blame or self-attack, shift the tone. Speak to yourself the way you would speak to a close friend, firm but kind. You can be honest without being cruel. Over time, these small moments of stillness create a deeper relationship with yourself.
You're no longer a stranger to your own mind. You notice sooner when something is off. You catch patterns earlier. You're less likely to explode or collapse because you've been checking in along the way. In a loud world, your ability to access inner quiet becomes a superpower. When you decide to confront that one problem you've been avoiding, break the process into manageable steps so it doesn't overwhelm you. Step 1 is clarity. Write down exactly what the problem is without softening it. For example, I am in debt and I've been ignoring it. Or, this relationship is unhealthy but I haven't been honest. Or, my drinking is affecting my life. Put the truth on paper. Step 2 is impact. List how this problem is affecting you, your sleep, your mood, your finances, your self-respect, your relationships. Seeing the cost in front of you dissolves the illusion that avoiding it is harmless. Step 3 is options. Brainstorm every possible step you could take. Don't judge them yet, just list them. Call someone, book an appointment, set up a plan, have a conversation, research solutions, ask for help. Step 4 is choose one. Don't try to fix everything in one move. Pick the next right action, the one that feels uncomfortable but doable. Put a date and time on it. When that moment comes, expect fear to show up. Don't wait for it to disappear. Act with the fear. If the problem is big or deeply emotional, consider getting support, a trusted friend, mentor, counselor, or professional. Asking for help is not weakness, it's strategy. You are still the one taking responsibility by choosing to get guidance. After you take that first step, give yourself credit. You've broken the cycle of avoidance. Now keep going, one action at a time. You may not feel instant relief, but you will likely feel lighter because you're moving toward resolution instead of running. Remember, courage is not the absence of fear, it's doing what matters while fear is present. Each time you face what you once avoided, you reinforce a new identity. I am someone who deals with my life. That identity will serve you again and again, long after this particular problem is solved. To make tracking simple and sustainable, design a tiny system that fits on one page. Draw a grid with days of the month across the top and your key habits down the side. These should be the few actions that truly matter for your growth. Your one focused hour, your physical movement, your daily learning, your reflection or journaling, maybe one project-specific task. Each day, when you complete a habit, put a check mark or an X in the box. If you miss it, leave it blank. Don't add explanations or excuses to the chart. Keep it clean. At a glance, you'll see your real consistency. This visual record does two things. First, it motivates you not to break the chain. You'll feel a quiet satisfaction seeing a row of check marks and a healthy discomfort at blank spaces. Second, it gives you data. Once a week, spend a few minutes reviewing your sheet. Ask, where am I strong? Where am I slipping? What patterns do I notice? Maybe you always miss your workout on Fridays. Maybe your learning habit falls off on days you go out late. This awareness lets you adjust intelligently instead of guessing. You can decide to protect certain times more carefully or prepare for known weak points. If you see a streak break, don't spiral into guilt. Use a simple rule: never miss twice. If yesterday was a miss, today's mission is to get back on track, even with a small version of the habit. This prevents minor slips from becoming long-term stops. Over months, your tracking pages become a record of your effort, not your perfection. You'll be able to look back and see tangible evidence that you are capable of showing up consistently over time. That knowledge builds deep, earned confidence. You stop asking, "Can I change?" because the proof is in your own handwriting.
To make your habits stick until they become part of your identity, connect them to who you want to be, not just what you want to get. Instead of thinking, "I want to read more to be successful," think, "I am becoming a person who learns every day." Instead of, "I want to exercise to look better," think, I am someone who respects my body. Identity-based habits are harder to abandon because quitting them feels like betraying who you are. Start small enough that you can't reasonably say no. If your goal is to read daily, begin with 5 pages. If your goal is to write, aim for 10 minutes. If your goal is to move, commit to 10 minutes of activity. As the habit becomes automatic, you can scale it up, but the priority is consistency, not intensity. Link new habits to existing ones using habit stacking. After I wake up, I drink a glass of water. After I drink water, I write for 10 minutes. After I write, I move my body. The existing routine becomes a trigger for the new behavior. Expect setbacks. There will be days you feel off, weeks where life hits hard. When that happens, don't throw the habit away, shrink it. If you can't do your full routine, do the smallest possible version. 1 push-up, 1 paragraph, 1 minute of reflection. This keeps the identity alive. You're still the person who shows up even on hard days. When you catch yourself thinking, this isn't working fast enough, remember that meaningful change is supposed to be slow. You are rewiring years, maybe decades of patterns. Trust the math. 1 focused hour a day is 365 hours a year. 1 small habit, repeated, becomes a force far greater than you feel in the moment. Over time, others will notice your shift, your calm, your clarity, your follow-through. But more importantly, you will notice it. You'll look back and realize that you didn't just add habits to your life, you became someone new, 1 repeated action at a time.